right, so this is for Friday. So it'll be the whatever it is, Friday's date. All right, so this you got your 1 week down. All right, one more to go. But we're on page 259, and we're doing general factoring. All right, and basically what this lesson is about is putting everything that you've done with factoring all together. So it's a nice Friday lesson, kind of a review in everything that you've learned so far. But basically, I want you to put everything into practice and bringing things down as factored as much as you possibly can. So the general rules at the bottom of page 259, if you look at that real quick, there are 5 steps that you want to do. Those 5 steps, you can see them with me. Number 1 says remove common factors. Remove common factors. Number 2 says check for special forms. And then number 3, factor by reverse FOIL. Number 4, factor by grouping. Number 5, you can check it by expanding. All right. So they give you all kinds of illustrations, but the bottom line is this. All right, you're just gonna put everything that we've learned into practice, which I know some of you are scared right now. All right, but go over to page 262, and we're going to do these on page 262 to 263. There are a total of 46 of these. All right, there's 46 problems here, page 262 to 263. Good part is I'm gonna help you do some now. Bad part is you're gonna do them all. But good news is we get to count it for like 2 lessons, right? Yay! Because this is technically, we're going to make this like quiz and everything. And so you're all good. All right, so here we go. So if you look at that page 262, there's a couple things you want to keep in mind. That number 1, some could be prime. If you can't do anything with them, it's prime. I'm just glancing down at the 2 pages and I see 2 prime, right? So in all of these, I see 2 of them that are prime. So if you end up with 10 prime, wrong, right? So go back. Then also remember some of them may be extremely simple. Like number 12 just caught my attention. Number 12 says x cubed minus 5x. X cubed minus 5x, right? So all I know, I can take out the x, which leaves me with x squared minus 5. That's it. That's the answer, right? I can't take that down any further. There's nothing I can do with it. So that is the answer. So some of them might be that easy. Some of them will do what we did yesterday, which is when you may have to, if there's 4, I'm just telling you now, if there's 4 terms, you're going to group them into 2 groups of 2. And then use the same principles. If you kind of forget that, good news with the internet, you can go back and watch it again. I'm sure you will. So you can just break these down and get them down as far as you can. So some of them are going to be easy. If you get hung up on some, not the end of the world. Again, reach out to me. All right, you can comment on the video here on YouTube if you want to. If you want to watch it that way, send me an Instagram, a Facebook, text, phone call, all kinds of options. All right. So I'll try to get back with you as soon as possible. All right. So look at number 1. It says x squared minus 9x plus 20. X squared minus 9x plus 20. All right, x squared minus 9x plus 20. So again, we look, is there something I can factor out of all of them? No. There's not 4 terms, so I'm not be grouping in groups of 2. So I'm going to do some backwards foiling here. 1 times what is x squared? And that, of course, is x times x. What are my signs going to be? A what times a what is a positive. When that's positive, we always look at the neighbor here. And so I know it has to be a negative times a negative equals a positive. But added together gives me a negative. Now, what times what is 20? Added together gives you 9. My options are 1 times 20. My options are 2 times 10, 4 times 5. So think on it. I'll be right back and give you the answer. Just like class, I had a phone call. That's why I had to go really quick, right? So things never change. All right, so anyways, you should have the answer here. You have 1 times 20 or 2 times 10 or 4 times 5. Obviously, which one of those works out to equal 9 when added together? It's obviously 4 and 5. So x minus 4, x minus 5, whatever order, but that will give you that answer. All right, so there's quite a few like that. We can jump down to number 4, I believe it is. give you another illustration. Number 4 says 7x cubed plus 35x squared minus 21x. All right, so don't forget the first thing you're going to do is let's see something I can factor out of all of it. In this case, there is. All right, we want to take that x out, and we can actually take the 7 out as well. All right, because 7 will go into each of those, and x, which leaves me with 7x cubed divided by 7x, leaves me with an x squared plus 5x minus 3. All right, and then, if you're not quite done yet, see if you can break this down. If you have a trinomial, you're probably going to break it down. So I'm going to leave that 7x there. Now I'm going to have 2 of these now. What times what is x squared? X and x plus and minus, because a positive times a negative is a negative. So now the outer inner thing is going to be subtracted and not added. So what times what is 3, but then added together is going to give you 5x. All right? You haven't got it yet? Still? Me either. All right? Because there isn't anything. All right? The only option is 1 times 3. And so this is one of those weird times. You say there's no other option here, so I can't factor that down. So I know I just said you're probably always going to factor down, and you probably always are, but not this time. Welcome to algebra. All right, so that is the final answer. It doesn't go any further, so it's one of those weird ones. All right, number 8. All right, number 8. We'll look at that one together real quick. Number 8 says 16x squared minus 81. All right, so in this case, on this problem here, we're going to see, first of all, is there something I can factor out 16 and 81? Well, the only thing that will go into 81, 3 will, but 3 won't go into 16. 9 will, but 9 won't go into 16. The only option for 16 is 2, 4, and 8. So none of those go in there, so you can't. So I just got to see now, all right, I need to see if I can break this down. What times what is 16x squared? Now, if there's no middle term, remember this is putting all those things into practice. If there's no middle term, that means that these two things have to be exactly alike. My 2 binomials, the only difference, one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. All right, so to make them exactly alike, I'm going to put 4x times 4x plus minus, what times what is 81? That's the same, 9 and 9. How do we know that's right? Because if you go back and check it, first, outer, inner, last, your outer and your inner is going to cancel out. Because 4x and negative 9 is negative 36x, positive 36x, no middle term. So you know it's correct, right? So that would be that answer there for number 8. Again, you may have to just go back and see some, look back in the previous few lessons, starting at lesson 7.1, but they all, you should be able to work most of these out. But again, if you have an issue, let me know. Numbers 13 and 14 have your 4 terms, so you may have to do 2 binomials. I'll do 13 real quick. 13 says xy plus 3y plus 2x plus 6. All right? So in this case, I'm going to put it in my 2. I can't factor anything out. So I have an xy plus 3y plus 2x plus 6. I'm going to factor out my y, which leaves me with x plus 3. Plus, factor out my 2, which leaves me x plus 3. What's common between these two? My x plus 3, which leaves me with y plus 2. All right, so if you see that one, you'll be able to handle that. One of them that was interesting, if you look at the bottom of that first page, the very last question on this page, number 26 says x to the 8th minus 1. Now, if you remember, as long as you have a perfect square with a negative, you can keep breaking it down. Once it's positive, you can't. Watch and I'll show you. All right, so in this case, I'm going to put what times what is x to the 8th? The x to the 4th. All right, so plus, minus, what times what is 1? 1. Now this one I can't break down anymore because if I tried, I would get a middle term and it wouldn't work out. But when there's a negative and 2 perfect squares, you can break it down further. So I'm going to keep this x to the 4th plus 1. And now this one, I'm going to put x squared times x squared plus minus, what times what is 1? 1 and 1. Can't break it down any further, but I have a perfect square with a negative, so I can break down that one again. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to put x to the 4th plus 1, x squared plus 1, and then this one, x times x plus minus 1, 1. All right? And so now you've broke that one down. The whole thing is the answer. All right? If we turn the page over, most of these I think you'll be able to do. Don't forget there's some primes. Don't forget if you need to change everything, you don't want to ever start a parentheses with a negative. So if you need to change it, put a negative on the outside, change everything on the inside, and then break it down. Like number 35. Let's do that one real quick. All right? We'll do 30. I'll do 2 more with you. And then you're responsible to have all these done. All right? So number 35 says negative x squared plus 13x minus 30. Now again, if you want to try this on your own and then see if you got it right, hit pause. I'll even freeze. That's a nice pause mark. All right, but if not, all right, just you can do it with me if you want to. All right, but in this case, you're going to change. You don't want everything, the first term to be negative. So you put a negative, and then you change every term. This negative x squared becomes a positive minus 13x plus 30. Now you've changed that. Now we're going to break this down into 2 because nothing can be factored out. I have x and x. A negative times a negative is a positive because I need them to add together a negative. 1 times what is 30 added together is 13. Easy. All right, 10 and 3. So the answer is negative parentheses x minus 10, x minus 3. All right, the only other ones that may throw you for a loop, down to number 46. The very last one. Remember, when things are in parentheses, you treat it like a letter. All right? This one says this. X plus 2 squared minus 36. All right? Now, if that said a squared minus 36, you would have no issue. I would hope. Right? All right, you would have done a plus 6 minus 6. All right, well, it's the same thing. It's just you treat the x plus 2 like a letter. So as odd as this is going to look, watch it, all right? So you're going to have parentheses. Since you have 2 of these, you're going to put x plus 2. Still in its, I guess we should use really a bracket. Then plus 6. And then x plus 2, because that's twice, minus 6. All right? Because plus minus 6 times 6 is 36. To finish it, you're always going to combine what you can. Number 45 is the same way, except you can't combine x's and y's. Not 45. Sorry, 40. 43 is that way. Sorry. All right, so, but in this case, all right, if I drop these parentheses, I have x plus 2 plus 6. Hope you can see where I'm going with that. Then x plus 2 minus 6. Okay? In this case, I'm left with a x plus 8, because 6 plus 2 is 8. And then I could have put these in parentheses, I guess. And then x minus 4. That's 2 and a negative 6. X plus 8, x minus 4. All right? So, again, I want you to try those. Basically, this is, I want you to do all of them. All right? But don't hate me. This counts for Friday's work and Monday's work. All right? So, Friday and Monday's work is 7.9. All right? So, then next week on Tuesday, we'll do lesson 7.10. And then we'll go forward from there. All right? Hope your first week's going okay. Hope you're not too bored out of your mind. But again, please, if you're having any issues, do not hesitate. Reach out to me. Send me a screenshot of whatever problem you're working on. I will work it out and send you a screenshot back. Or you don't have to do that awkward like on the phone with me if you don't want to. But I'll try to help you out. So, all right, I'm not going to do your homework for you, but I do want you to get it. All right, that's why I'm here. So, all right, thanks, and praying for you.